Hi everyone. My dogs are in here today and I said hi everyone and Cooper's like, what? Are you talking to me? Knocked over the trash can. Give me just a second. Of course he did. Of course he did. Okay, I can't very well do a studio tour with the trash can knocked over, so I had to take a second just to fix that. Hi guys, how are we doing? Let's try again. Hello. Hello to everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hi Donna, hi Wendy, hi Carmen. It's so good to see you guys. All right, so I'm gonna let everybody come on in. So let's just chat a second. Hi Kathy. Kathy, I ate the rest of my Chinese food for lunch and I'm starving again. Hi Stacia. Hi Anita. Okay, so I've got a pretty good crowd. You guys are fast today. Notifications must be working today. Excuse me. So let's chat a second. So you guys have asked me for a while to do an updated kind of studio workspace tour. And I haven't done it. I've been kind of putting it off for a while because my workspace has kind of been in flux. Like I've been trying to like reorganize and replace things and put things where I wanted them to go so that they worked in the best way for me. And it's taken me a while to kind of figure out like what works best. But for now, I kind of like the way I have everything set up. So I'm happy to be able to show that to you guys. So that's what we're doing today. If you came in today thinking that we were going to be doing a project, we are not doing a project. We are just going to do a little tour of my work area. And then I'll sit back down with you guys and you guys can ask me, you know, well, you can ask me whatever you want to ask me, whatever you want to ask me. But if you've got storage questions or, you know, supplies questions or things like that, today is a really good opportunity for you to, you know, to ask those questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start at the door. So here in just a second, when I get up, I'm going to like try not to make you seasick because I'm going to have to actually carry the iPad around with me. And I don't have a stand up, tripod, so you guys are just going to kind of have to bear with me. For those of you who get motion sick, I am really sorry because I'm afraid it's going to be kind of wiggly today, and not necessarily in a good wiggle way. But Barbara says don't tell anyone, but I'm technically working. I will not tell on you. Your secret is safe with all of us. But I'm going to start at the door and like just kind of show you like what you would see if you walked into this room. And this is really weird for me because I'm like, why would you even want to see any of this? Like, it's just my stuff. But I have to remember, like, I'm one of those people that if you drive down the road late at night and people have their blinds pulled and their lights are on and you can see inside, I'm like, ooh, I like that picture that's hanging on their wall. Or, ooh, I love those lamps. I'm totally one of those people, which is probably really weird, but it's kind of the same thing. So I understand, right? You guys are interested to see how I store and manage all of my stuff. So I got a lot of stuff, but the good news is that I've cleaned out quite a bit. So there is some stuff missing, but I feel like it's more functional now. So, all right, who's ready? Who's ready? I've got to, what's the word I'm looking for? I have to take you out of the tripod that you're actually in. So yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy one. All right. So let me just undo you guys here. Ugh. All right. So I'm not going to turn you around just yet. We all like to look in other people's cupboards. Yes, I do. All right, so I'm going to stand up. I'm going to walk you guys to the door, and then I'm going to turn you around so that you can really kind of see. And also, just so you know, the dogs are in here today, so I felt like since we weren't doing a project, it would be okay for me to just like kind of have them, you know, on the loose or whatnot. So just so you can see, this is the hallway. Oh, wait, you can't see that. Hold on. There's the hallway. There's my Albert boy down there at the end of the hallway. Hi, Albert. He's a good boy. Is Albert a good boy? Okay. So, Albert says he's a good boy. He doesn't have to prove it. Oh, now he comes. Now he comes. Okay, so when you walk in the door, okay, first thing you're going to notice is that I don't have a lot of wall space because
I'm upstairs, and this is technically the bonus room of our house. So I don't have a lot of wall space to work with. So I really kind of have to deal with this whole ceiling issue. But, okay, so when you very first walk in, of course, you're going to see the 2 dog beds here because, I mean, gotta have a place for them, right? But if we turn directly after we walk in the door, like we really did, there's the door, okay? There's my laundry room, if anybody wants to come do my laundry for me. When you very first walk in, here's what we've got. So there's my TV, and this dresser right here is actually a repurpose. This was when one of my kids was a baby. I don't remember which one. But when they were a baby, this was somebody's dresser, and then they grew into like a new bedroom furniture thing. So I stole their dresser, which I thought was pretty handy for me. So there's my Cricut, and it usually has like a big layer of dust on it, but I did do a little dusting, you guys, just a little bit. And there's my Cricut like iron for making shirts. I've only done like one. So, okay, Albert, you're gonna have to move, baby. Oh, there's Cooper. Hi, Cooper. Albert, I can't walk with you in the way. Okay. So in the drawers here, just going to kind of show you. So this is not the most organized in the entire world. The top drawer, I'm not even going to open it for you at all, just because it's kind of a catch-all, and it really just has a bunch of junk in it. But my second drawer here, I am a little organized, you guys. So this has not all of, but this has some stringing material that I don't use on a regular basis. So for instance, there are the colors of the Supple Max. Remember when Supple Max came out in the colors? So there are the colors of that. There's a whole bunch of clear Supple Max and elasticity. Like, I have a lot of that. I have elasticity in the gold and the black. And I keep this over here because I don't use this stuff a lot. So I don't need it to be close to me necessarily, right? Then I have some other things that I don't necessarily use on a regular basis. There's some of that leather that was in our kits. I've got some velour and some rubber tubing. Like, this is just stuff that I've picked up along the way and kind of held on to. There's a tassel maker. There's some satin cord. And then this is my bead stringing wire that I don't use. And I've got it in a lot of colors, and I say I don't use, I actually do use this stuff, but I use this for the Klechner bracelet weaver tool. I'm really kind of particular about the sizes of the bead stringing wire that I use for that. So a lot of this is too thick for just my regular everyday stringing, right? There's some really, really thick, heavy duty in here. Let's see, where's a big one? Let's see if we can find a big one here. Ah, come on. This one looks to be pretty big, but I can't seem to get it out. They're all stuck in there. So, like, this one's the champagne color. Hold on, can't even see that. But it's really thick, so it's bigger than some of my crimp tubes, and it's bigger than my wire guardian. So I use this for the Klechner bracelet weaver tool because it's really big and substantial. And the colors are kind of the same way. I have like the larger, thicker gauges in the colors, just so that I can use those with the Klechner tool. So I've actually had these for a really, really, really long time. I don't want you to think that I'm like constantly buying bead stringing wire. I'm totally not. I just, you know, when I worked at JTV, and then I also work with Beadalon now and have been with them for a long time, like, you know, I ended up with lots of samples from shows and stuff like that. So, all right, I'm going to close this drawer. We're going to go to the next drawer. The next drawer is just kind of a catch-all of bigger things. So I have my spinning beads that I very rarely use. I have my artistic wire findings forms, and I just kind of keep them all together. I have a styrofoam cutter I have my Kumihimo discs, my dapping block, another spin and bead. I have the 2 Wrap It looms. So I have like, let's see. This one's the professional series, and this one was like the original that came out. And I keep the boxes, I don't know why, because I'm a weirdo like that. And then underneath here, there's another tassel maker, the Klechner tools, the ring tools, like the Klechner ring tools, and the bracelet tool. So that's that drawer. The bottom drawer is so full that I can't even open it. Well, yeah, no, I can't open it. It's kind of stuck. So this bottom drawer has bead mats in it. Cooper's inspecting as well. So it's got bead mats in it. It has some really bright colored yarns in here. There's a box of Christmas lights. Like, this drawer doesn't have much of anything fun in it, but just so you know. All right, now I'm going to stand up and I'm going to kind of turn this way, because when you walk in, directly to your left is this big metal rack. It is the beading tool graveyard. That's so funny. Okay, so on this rack over here, this is just craft stuff, okay? So this is mostly my Cricut supplies. You can see I've got Cricut stuff up on the top. I've got wooden surfaces here on that shelf that we're looking at. So things that you can take, things that you make on the Cricut and attach to other things. And you can see I have lots of things, but haven't really attached much of anything. This is my paper supply. I have a paper problem. Like I have a paper problem like I have a bead problem, just not nearly as big. But all of this is paper. And you like my sign? Children left unattended will be sold to the circus. I think that's funny. But behind that is all of my Cricut paper. So when Cricut has like their sales, I just can't help myself and I buy Cricut paper, which I use for cards and all of that fun stuff, right? And this rack, you're gonna see a few more of the racks, but I use the shower hooks to hang things on my racks, which is super convenient. So there's all my paper. There's a whole stack of faux leather. And then I'm gonna close the door. I feel like I'm being really loud. Okay, so down here is just more crafty things like that. This guy right here is full of ribbon. This one is also full of ribbon, but I have like my ribbon straightener, and this is like sewing stuff. You can tell it's just got sewing stuff. I don't do a lot of sewing, but I do have stuff just in case I need to like sew on a button or whatever. I've got fabric scraps. What else do I got here? Fabric scraps, just odds and ends. Like that one has like some, I don't know, letters, wooden letters and other things. I don't know. I don't know. It's just stuff, right? And then on the bottom, I have my buckets for whatever. I have this stuff that I love. So you guys know we do big Halloween haunt, or we had been. We didn't this past year, but I use great stuff for like zombie guts because it's perfect to make intestines with. I know that's disgusting. There's some celluclay behind there, some bottles, just stuff for crafting, really. A box that has different kinds of glues. There's liquid latex, just whatever you would need to make like zombies and things, right? Or, you know, whatever Halloween-y thing. A box of wreaths and moss and wine corks, just crafty, you know, just crafty stuff. And then I have crafty stuff hanging on the sides too. So like all my vinyl and, you know, freezer paper, because you got to have freezer paper. I don't know why, but you do. I don't know why. All right, I'm going to stand up. All right, so over here we have an Albert doing a little scratch, and there's my refrigerator I just bought recently with my leftover Christmas money. I'm so excited. So I can keep all my waters and my can keep things cold up here and I don't have to go all the way downstairs. With my little refrigerator. Has my waters and my Snickers. And all my cold stuff in it. That's my Bead Society box. And then empty bead boxes. Okay, standing up, standing up, standing up. Okay, so this is where, let me back up so you can kind of see how tall this is. So this is like my little photography area here. So this table, you can either sit on the stool or you can stand at it because sometimes I get tired of sitting. But this is actually where I do most of my photography. So I will open up the blinds and use the natural light to take all of those photos that you see. Like for instance, this would be what you would see in the photo, right? So yeah, the natural light pictures happen here, and I have tons and tons of props, but for the most part, this is the way that this is set up. I have tape and a bust and all the things that I need here. And then my wooden backgrounds and just a stack of paper that looks good as backgrounds, right? Because you gotta have lots of paper. Again, kind of working on that whole paper thing. So I gotta have more reasons to buy paper. Quit that. No fighting in here. That's enough. Okay, I'm gonna close this blinds back because it gets really hot in here if I don't close the blinds. Okay. All right, so backing away from the window, if you keep going, here's my light box. And I use the light box not nearly as much as I used to. I love it, and it takes a great photo, but I really have gotten to where I prefer the natural light better. But that's what I use. And I have all of like the backgrounds are back there in that corner. And then this whole little dusty thing here, my shelves, inside all of those little drawers are things for props. So anything that you could possibly think of that you would need, like I've got tons of fake flowers, cups and saucers and candles and candlesticks and rocks and all kinds of things that you would want for a background in a photo. I just keep all of that kind of here because makes it easier than wandering around the house and just like picking up random things. But that being said, it's also a place where if you have lost something, to come here and look in the drawers, because I might have picked it up and put it in my drawers for a picture. So when the kids lose things, that's sometimes where they end up, because I pick them up and use them in a picture. So yeah. All right. Okay. So moving on a little bit. This is an entire box of priority mail. Look at that. Like the post office just sends me this huge priority thing. It's absolutely full of mailers with Cooper. This is my vision board. So if you ever need a vision board, highly recommend putting one together. And yeah, so I'm going to move that out of the way for a second. This has all my shipping stuff. So there's my tape and my bubble mailers, more shipping supplies. There's the old tripod down there, my bubble wrap, and normally the out box is right here, but I have packages that are out, so they're out on the porch, but the out box usually sits right there in that spot. All right, turning a little bit. There's a studio light, which is an odd light. He doesn't have an umbrella. I have one, but I don't ever use it because I knock it over. So there's my endless supply of Diet Coke. On the bottom of that shelf is more craft supplies. And then down there on the bottom right there is the bead soup that I scoop bead soup stuff from. So the bead soup is there. Empty containers that I'm waiting to fill up. There's my label maker. I keep my Etsy shop stuff. So I have jewel loom stuff, Etsy shop stuff, and Etsy shop finished pieces in these guys for when I need them. So if anybody makes an order, I just come over to the little tote and pick it up. Wanda sees the Dunder Mifflin box. Is that not awesome? I get that from my mom. All right, now here's the bigger guy. So this is the one that you guys see a lot in like the background of my shots. First and foremost, check out all my Kansas City Chiefs stuff. But this is the bigger metal rack, and this rack has been through some crazy changes. I've taken and added all kinds of stuff to it. So at the moment, on the top, which you can't really see very well, all of my painting stuff, like so behind all of the strands over here is like my gesso and my paintbrushes and all of that stuff. In that black container is also some more paint stuff. A lot more craft stuff is behind all those beads, but the beads are hanging there. And then the middle shelf here has my tool overflow. So I've got my Sizzix, I have all my hammers, and let's get in here so you can kind of see better. So underneath all of, I do paint. Underneath all of the beads, this is my tool overflow. So these are tools that maybe I don't necessarily use nearly as often as the ones that I keep out. There's all my wubbers and just some cord in case I need to, I don't know, tie up a bad guy. I have no idea why that cord's there. I'll be honest with you. Up here on the top are my Bead Buddy boards, my macrame board, my Naughty Do It All, and my larger necklace boards. Those are up there on a stack because they're really big and they're very difficult to store anywhere. So they fit up there. All right, down here on the bottom, since I've started doing kits for you guys, this is where all of that magic happens. So I have a different inventory for kits than for just my regular stuff. So everything that's in totes here, this is kit inventory. So you can see like I have all of them labeled. There's ear wires, earrings, findings, tube beads, bead caps, jump rings, crystals, just beads in general, glass beads, clasps. All of this stuff is the stuff that goes in the kits. So it's separate from my regular supply, right? Because remember, I told you guys, I can't give you guys stuff that Beadalon has given me. I just, morally, I just don't feel right about doing that. So I have a completely different stash of materials that I put in kits as opposed to the things that I use to make jewelry for Beadalon or for Michael's or for our projects. So all of this is just inventory to fill up kits that I put together for you guys on Fridays. And that's all this stuff is used for. The rest of the stuff that you're going to see is my actual stuff, like my stuff. All right, so coming on around is my cart. I got this cart last year, I think. So the cart is super important because it's on wheels, which means I can roll it wherever I need it to be. On the top here is the wire that I use the most. So this is the wire that I use for all of our lives, which is, most of it is the German style wire. These are beads that, I have this really weird thing about beads, I'll have to tell you guys, and you guys probably know. So I have beads in several stages of reminder. Does that make sense? Like, for instance, these beads are on this cart to remind me, hey, you have these beads, you really like these beads, they're pretty cool, you might want to use them in a project. So that's why they're here. Do they get used? Not really. But the intention is that, hey, remember, come to these first. I actually have 3 other locations for those kinds of beads I'll show you in a minute. But these are like kind of inching their way closer to me, right? So it's like a little reminder, like, okay, remember us? Right here is with the hanging beads. These are also in a stage of reminder. Hey, don't forget about us. You just got us. You want to use us. These are the Z beads. I got all of these and like had a project in mind. They're still hanging here because, like, again, they're in a state of reminder. Like, remember, turn over here and grab these. I totally just don't. So, but back behind, so on the top is my hard wire, like, for my wire wrapping projects. Here, this is the bead stringing wire that only gets used for Michael's classes and for our Facebook Lives. So that's what this bead stringing wire is. I have to keep an ongoing list of the inventory that is at Michael's, and I have to keep it separate from everything else because Michael's doesn't carry all of the sizes and colors and diameters of the bead stringing wire that Beadalon offers, right? So I keep that inventory separate so that when I go to make a project for them, I can grab from here, use a little bit of it, and then put it back, and I don't use it for anything else. That way I always have it on hand and I always have the correct sizes. There's the artistic wire. There's some more beads that are in like, you know, these guys are a little bit further down, so they're like the last stop before this would be the first stop. So they go from the main shelf to this little shelf, and then they work their way up here, and once they work their way up here, then they work their way to the desk, but they still never get used. Like, it's just pitiful. So where do I get my hooks? I actually get these from Walmart. They're shower hooks. I get them over in the bathroom stuff. Down here on the bottom is just a catch-all, my tying station, my letter beads, some ribbons, just things that I need close by but don't really have anywhere else to kind of put them. So I just toss them down here on the bottom. Okay. So behind, well, actually there's stuff hanging here too. Let me show you. So on the side of my cart is just some hanging stuff. The leather cording, that's Michael's cording. Again, I keep it here away from my other stock just so that I don't use it for anything other than the Michael's stuff, right? Underneath the desk are some more of these drawers. The middle one there is full of like organza bags and boxes for shipping, but the rest of it is yarn and fabrics for the jewel loom stuff. So that's what those boxes are, or those are also full of. They have yarns, all of the wooden looms. This one up here is actually full of resin jewelry stuff, which I never do, but I have a ton of for some reason. Okay, so I'm gonna stand up. I am an all-in-one crafter. I kind of have to be because I got so many different things that I do. So there's my bracelet holder, which holds all the bracelets. So like if I want to get ready for a live, I come over here and pick out one of my favorites. It also has my necklaces on it. Pick out one of those to put on for a show. I just recently got these guys and I have more, but this is the one that I started out with. So this is all separated out. I use my label maker because I'm crazy. You can see I've got everything. My tiara cast stuff, cord ends, ear wires, bells, wire guardians, like everything is separated out. And for the most part, I try to keep everything separated by color as well. So I'll have like gold and silver and copper and all of that all separated out. There's my lava lamp, which you can't really see. It's not really a lava lamp. It's a glitter lamp. Just makes me happy. And then this is where I used to hang all of my, remember when I worked for Jesse James Beads? I used to hang all of my Jesse James Beads strands in the window. I don't do that anymore. Now I just hang some of my Michael strands here and some chain. I don't know. I've even thought about taking it down, but I don't know. I feel like the window would just be too exposed if I took it away. So I leave it. Nicole says Ramona's causing trouble. Blaming Nicole. Now, ladies, that's enough. There are my sugar skulls. I made that with the Cricut, that really pretty paper thing. It is made out of paper. I made that on the Cricut with a bunch of layers. Probably the last Cricut project I ever did. Poor Cricut. Okay, so here's the big shelf. This is the shelf. This is all of the inventory of beads other than the stuff that's hanging that I use. So this is not for kits. This is just my personal stash. And I try to keep things organized by color, but I don't do a very good job. All of that is like clear red, purples, and pinks on that shelf. And then down here, this shelf is all blues and greens. And you can see it's pretty deep. So I had this great idea to put all of my beads in these twisty containers to stack them all up instead of the flat bead boards. Well, or bead, you know, bead containers that are flat. Don't do that. Don't do what I did. You can see, but you can only see the first layer. Like once you get behind the first layer, you can't really see what else you've got. So it wasn't as great of an idea as I thought it was going to be. I kind of wish that I hadn't done that, but at this point I've spent so much money on these little containers. I don't have the heart to empty them out. So I'm just going to leave them like they are until something else comes along and makes me happier than those little containers. I like to be able to see my beads, right? And it's just hard to see your stuff no matter how you, you store them all. It's nearly impossible. So that's what I ended up with. Not super thrilled with it, but it is what it is, right? Next shelf down, I've got another one of those little container things with all of the drawers. This one is more lockets and charms, keys, miscellaneous charms, mostly charms and pendants for the most part. Things that I separated out, a few little books here. Down here are the beads that never made it to those containers because this is the way I used to have all my beads. And again, I got midway through transferring them all into those containers and stopped. So these guys are living in their original little bins at the moment. I saved cigar boxes. I really like cigar boxes. They're great for storing stuff in. Do you guys have cigar boxes? I think they're fun. Down on the bottom is some more of those containers full of beads, and then all my books are over here. And I've actually gone through my books. I had a lot more, but I've given a lot of my books away, so I don't have nearly the inventory that I had before. But so if I back up a little bit, you can kind of get an idea. Well, I guess I have to actually stand up and get up off the floor, so you can kind of see what this shelf looks like from far away. So kind of getting an idea of what things look like as you kind of wrap around the room, right? So that's the wall kind of behind me during our lives. And then if you keep going, I have another one of these that has other things in it. Leather, Sizzix stuff, Impress Art stuff, head pins, all of that stuff. One of them's got batteries in it. Just weird things. Cup chain. Try to keep as much organized as I can. And then this guy, I absolutely hate. It's okay. It's fine for what it is. But because it's plastic, you can see at the top it's bowed. And it bows to a point where it's harder to get the drawers open. And that really frustrates me. So yeah, if I could swap this out for wooden shelves with drawers, I totally would. But I mean, that would mean spending money on drawers instead of beads. And let's be honest, that's just not going to happen. So in the top drawer here, I have all of my, well, there's some of that beadboard and stuff, but there's a stack of jewel looms because I have to have looms to step out with for photos. Some hammers, some of the baby looms. Next drawer down, this one has cord in it. So I have another tying station, and then I have all of the cord that is not bead string wire. So leather, all different kinds of hemp, B-lawn, S-lawn, all of that is in here. And then this guy underneath, this one has all of my silk cords in it. So all of my knotting cords for like pearl knotting and stuff like that. This guy goes on top of that. And I keep this drawer. This is actually the cleanest this drawer has looked in a very, very long time because I knew you guys were going to be looking at it. Normally this drawer just looks like a disaster. Like you open it up and you have to dig through it. You can't find anything. Ricky says lots of questions. Let me get through the tour and then I'll sit back down and we can go through whatever questions you guys have got. All right, so the next drawer down, this one is chain, wildfire, and baggies. I've got baggies in a lot of places. But I got some wildfire. You don't see this one. It is also wildfire, right? Shh, don't tell anybody. Actually, somebody sent that to me, so. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Put a piece of wood on top and it won't bow. I know. I totally need to. And I know it's an easy fix, but you know, I'll add that to my list. All right. Going down a drawer. Now this drawer definitely is a mess. This is the artistic wire drawer. Artistic wire. I try to make it manageable, but it just doesn't end up being that way because again, I come here and I just like grab what I need. My bracelet jig is in here. My bracelet jig pieces are in here. There's a whole bag of multicolor wire. There's scrap wire. Like, it's just a mess, and cleaning it up is really kind of pointless, so I just don't. I just leave it. It's a hot mess and I'm okay with that. This drawer is more wire. So there's German style wire. There's some really thick gauge wire in here. I keep a lot of the really thick gauge wire. Look at that stuff. Like, what would you ever need that for? But you'd be surprised. Craft Projects is really good for the really thick stuff. And then this is like braid, hex wire, square wire, just wires that I don't use on a regular basis, that I've just picked up over the years. I'm gonna push that back in. I gotta use my house shoe to close that one back. Okay. Last but not least is artistic wire in color. So I've got tons of artistic wire in color. And like these little guys were from classes that I've taught over the years, and I just had leftovers. So I have like the little spools. This is all memory wire. It's a hot mess. But the rest of it is just artistic wire and colors. And I've had this for a very, very long time. I don't use it very often. So it, you know, it looks like a bunch of spools of brand new wire. It's really not. I have used it. I just don't use artistic wire a whole lot. So yeah, you know. You know how it is. All right, using my house shoes to close this back. You guys are seeing my house shoes and my sweatpants. We're getting really personal today. Okay, coming up here, gonna give you kind of a look at where I actually sit. So if I back up, this is kind of my view. So when you guys are looking at me, this is what I see, right? I've got two little work areas here. I'm gonna go through those here in just a second. But want to kind of just show you the desk part. So just my desk with all my creepy stuff on it. I have all my little horror movie friends here. Yeah. Let's see. So I have my light up S. I got my chocolate hiding back there. There's a jar of cookie butter back here. Like, I have snacks everywhere, okay? I'm not gonna lie. But you guys know. All of my alcohol inks and my patinas are in here, along with my helping hands. So all of that stuff is nearby, so I can get to it. Down here is just work stuff and my spoons for my cookie butter, and there's some more snacks back there behind my Kleenexes. All right, I'm gonna sit. So if I sit in my chair and I turn around, this is sort of what you guys see, right? This is all the stuff that's behind me. Okay, so moving on. Over here, these wooden things. So I don't even know. One of these has unfinished projects in it. That's that guy. He's got unfinished projects in him. That guy's got a little bit of this and that. Yeah, just a little bit of this and that. Like, here's my Contastic. Just extra findings. There's that ring that I got for my for Christmas. More findings. I like to keep my little crimps in that little area there. All my leather, not all my leather, but a lot of my leather is right in there. This computer, this laptop is only for editing video. It runs, it's an Apple, so it runs Apple, whatever, you know, it runs the Mac operating system on it, which I use iMovie for editing video. But this one over here, this laptop that I've got, you guys can see my Led Zeppelin t-shirt too. So this laptop is exactly like this one, except this one runs Windows, even though it's a Mac. And this is the one that I do all of my work on for the most part. So this is the one that gets used. It's the one that stays open. This is my label printer. So when you order something from me, I print out my label. It makes a perfect little 4x6 label that I can stick to your bubble mailer or your box or whatever it is. Laptop. Okay, so here's where I actually do my Facebook Lives. This is what it looks like. So that weird looking thing in the center there that looks like kind of like an X or a person with arms and legs, that's the tripod where this iPad actually sits. Those are my lights. And where my phone is sitting, that's the work surface that I use to do our Facebook Lives. So that's really kind of a zoomed out view so you guys know exactly where I'm working. So when we come in, you guys are getting this view, right? Here are my hands, here's my stuff. And I've got my lights and everything is good to go, right? Then over here is where I get actual work done. This is my actual desk. Like this is where I actually do things. And again, this is set up so that I can film. So see, there's a camera right there that's pointing down. Let me stand up so you can see. So there's like a cutout, right? So that there's no shelf here. So I can look down with my, my camcorder and can film my hands. So I just take this away and I've got a nice white background for YouTube videos or whatever I need to, you know, whatever I need that I can't do with the iPod or iPad and I have to actually use the real camera for. So that's the way that's set up. It's always there. So all I have to do is just plug it up and turn it on. You guys can see there's Gordon, the unofficial mascot. And then just some containers, right? And then this is where I actually do all my stuff. So there's the tools that I use on a regular basis. All my findings, all beads. Like remember when I said beads in various stages? That's what these guys are. So this is like the next step in, this is the next step in like, come on now, remember you wanted to use those. That's what those are. So, and then I just added to this yesterday. So Kathy, my very, very dear friend Kathy, made me a Chiefs basket. And there's a whole nother level of beads that I want to use. They've made it to the Chiefs bucket. So, but yeah, that's my little workspace. So you guys can see everything. Get a little look. I have my two OT lights there. And I use the OT lights because they are really good for filming because they're nice and bright. Especially when I move the bead board, so, or the bead mat, it makes a really nice white background. There's my little Patrick. You guys see my Patrick? That's my motivation. But then I have other stuff too. Like I have my personal compass up here so I can always kind of remind myself I'm smart, patient, kind, or I'm smart, patient, creative, thankful, and gracious. I'm here to create, learn, shine, enjoy myself, and guide. And my wants are financial, independence, peace, security, recognition, and love. Just little reminders to myself, right? Things are about to get really good. Like I gotta have my little motivational things here and there. Right, but my Patrick, I wish he was bigger. All right, I'm going to put you guys over here back in the tripod and turn you back around. Hello, darlings. Okay, so you got a little tour So does anybody have any questions? Let me know, because it was hard for me to like be walking around and showing and then also reading. So whatever has happened in the comments, I've totally missed it. So I'm really sorry. Really, really sorry. But yeah, like, it's nice and clean, you guys, for you, because I knew that I was going to be showing you guys my workspace. Do not be fooled by that at all. Like, this is normally a disaster. It's normally a huge, huge mess. And it, you know, it's just clean for you. How big is the room? It's actually really small. It's very, very small. For this to be a bonus room, it's over the garage, but it's only half of the size of the garage. So this is actually like a really, really small space. Because it's over the garage, I sweat to death in the summertime and I freeze in the wintertime because there's just not a lot of insulation in this room. It's really, really small, so I've had to figure out how to make the space work, because the ceilings, as you saw, kind of go like this. So part of the wall is unusable because the ceiling comes down so far. So I've made the most of it. My original office was downstairs, and I had a pegboard, and I had all my beads hanging on hooks. I loved that, but I kind of feel like I have a little bit more breathing room in this room, oddly enough. And there's more floor space for the dogs, which was kind of important. So I gotta have like my co-pilots here with me. Yeah, so yeah, I got the cart, the rolling cart, I got it at Michael's, and they come in a couple of different colors, and you can get them plain or you can get them with like the extra things that you can hang on the outside. I spent the extra money and got the one with the stuff that you can hang on the outside, but the truth is that they fell off and they kept getting in the way, so I don't even use those. So if you're going to be looking at one, I probably would just get the one that doesn't have all the extra hangy things. I don't know. I ended up not using them nearly as much. Cindy did something and now she doesn't know what she did, but she can comment now. Well, that's good. Cindy says, I'm so organized. It's just clean. It's not that organized. Like if I had lots of time, which I totally don't have, if I had more time, I would take everything a step further. Like all the inventory that I use for kits, I would actually separate it out between gold and silver and hematite. Like I would separate all of that out and like have it really organized. It's kind of a mess because at the moment I just kind of open those totes and it's just like you just got to dig through there to find what you need and hope you have enough of something. And that's not super, super productive for me. But it's better than just having a big, huge tote in the floor, which is how I originally started, and digging through it. For the longest time, I was living out of totes here as far as like craft living, not like life living, but everything was in totes and it just got to be so much of a hassle. So, Holly says, is it personal to ask what happened with JJB? I kind of addressed it back in January, like when I very first came back after my hiatus for the holidays. It just wasn't a mutually beneficial relationship anymore. I'll just leave it at that. I made the best decision for me. You know, they offered me some great opportunities and I'm really grateful and thankful for all of the opportunities that I got with them. But ultimately I had to make a move to take care of me. Cindy says, I only have a quarter of what you have though. Okay, so here's the thing. This is part of the reason that I don't like showing off my stuff, and part of the reason that I didn't like doing it the very first time that I did this is because I feel like you guys look at my stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, you have so much. You have so many beads. You have so much wire. You have so much stuff. You don't need all of this stuff to create. You don't need all of this stuff. You have to remember, I work for Bead, and so they send me product on a fairly regular basis. When I worked for JTV, I was sent product on a regular basis. I have companies that send me stuff. And so
I can't use it in enough time, so I just hold on to it because I can't just throw it away, and I can't sell it because that's not right. So I just hold on to it and I keep it. I have cleaned out quite a bit. You guys know I don't have any Jesse James beads. I only have a handful of buttons. I don't need all of the stuff that I have here to create for you guys. I just have it and I just can't get rid of it. I have to keep it just in case, because I'm one of those just in case kind of people. But I have double the inventory because of the reason that I cannot sell you what Beadalon has given me. That's just not right. So I have to double up. I have to double up on things like chain and head pins and eye pins and jump rings and beads and stuff, so that I'm using from two totally different inventories, personal inventory and inventory for kits. So that way I can feel confident that I'm not abusing anybody anyway, you know. But you really don't. You don't need all of this stuff. You absolutely don't. I probably only use a fourth of what you guys see, except for the new stuff that's in the totes for the kits. But for the most part, I just hold on to things. I just, you know, like one day I'm going to need neon green bead stringing wire. I don't know why, but I can't get rid of it. And the Cricut stuff is the same way. Like, really, do I really need all of the Cricut stuff? I don't. And I honestly could get rid of probably 95% of the stuff that I have that's Cricut related. But like, what if I wake up one morning and I'm like, I need the Cricut today? I know you can relate, because we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. Yeah, and it's easy to get overwhelmed. Cindy brings up a really good point. The more she gets, the more overwhelmed she feels. That's kind of the way I feel about the beads and like their journey to my desk. Like, they start out over here on the cart, and then they work their way to the top of the shelf, and then they work their way to the bucket, and then some of them have actually made their way to the bead, to the actual desk. And like, I have so many wonderful things that I want to use that I don't even know where to start, and that's a problem. Like, I probably need a 12-step program. But, you know, I can't stop. I gotta have beads. Beads and tools. I got to have them. Do you use the Cricut at all for jewelry stuff? You can cut wood and you can cut leather to make components for jewelry, but I haven't done a lot of that. I know that it's possible, and I have all the stuff to do it. I just haven't done it. Oh, goodness. Not so much of the... Yeah, hold on, I gotta scroll back because I was reading... Whoops! I was reading a comment and then it went away. Hold on. Oh, that's round. I can use that to... Right, Mary? I'm feeling it. You're so welcome, you guys. We do enable each other. It is a problem. Labels, yeah. So labels are my favorite. That's probably my favorite thing ever. And that makes a huge, huge difference. So if you're struggling with organization, put things in containers. It doesn't matter what kind of containers they are. I don't recommend this whole business, but even like the flat boards that you put all your beads in, you can like open them up, like get a label maker. That was the best, probably $40 that I ever spent in my life was a label maker. And you can just stick those little guys to whatever you want to. And if you're tired of that label or you need to change it out, just rip it off there and print a new one. So a label maker is probably #1 on my list of things that you definitely need if you're trying to get more organized. It will make your life so much easier. It does take a little bit of time. Like, I spent about 2 weekends sitting and printing out labels. It's not the most fun in the entire world to print them all out, but gosh, it's so nice to be able to just turn around and look at that thing right there and go, I need some silver jump rings, and go straight to the silver jump rings and not have to dig through everything. Or I need a tiara cast something, or I need that pendant that I got from Lipstick Ranch. Like, all of that's labeled so that I don't have to dig through all the other stuff to find those things. That makes my life, and like production wise, a lot easier. It makes things go a lot smoother.
As far as the actual containers, I got those on Amazon, of course, but you can get those in the hardware department at like Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware if you have those, Minet's Hardware, or just even over in the hardware department of Walmart. They don't always have them at Walmart, but around Christmas time when you buy stuff to give to men who need to, put their tools and stuff away, a lot of times they'll have a really good deal on those little slide out drawers, and they're made to hang on the wall. I just don't have wall space for that. So mine are sitting on things, but popping the little labels on them, made a huge, huge difference. So it was so much easier for me to find things than to have these. I had tons of these, and I still like these because they're the perfect size for head pins and eye pins. But when they're also full of jump rings, and they're also full of clasps, and they're also full of cord ends, like it's not doing you any favors to have to dig through stuff. So definitely grab yourself a label maker. The best label maker, I don't know. Let me grab mine. I'll tell you what mine is. Kathy's got a label maker. Kathy, what kind of label maker do you have? Mine is a Dymo. Excuse you. Mine's a Dymo. It's just really super easy to use. The only problem is that it's kind of big and bulky, but I'm okay with it. I'm not mad at it. It does exactly what I want it to do. And I didn't spend a ton of money on it, but it doesn't do anything fancy. Like letters and numbers, that's all you're going to get. There's no special characters or anything like that. Like you can't do fancy stuff. But totally worth it. Yeah. Brother, Pammy's got hers, is a brother. I think that's what, P-Touch label makers are great. Yeah. So there's a couple out there. The only one I've ever used is this Dymo one, and I don't have any problems with it. I do know that the batteries drain kind of quick. But other than that, it does everything I want it to do. And there are some really expensive ones that you can do crazy things with, but I don't really need all that. Margaret says she has a brother, P-Touch. I think that's what Kathy has too. Pretty sure. Oh, just watching the comments go by. You guys, thanks for joining me for this. You asked for it, so you got it. So if anybody complained that there wasn't a project today, just know I did what you asked me to do. But if you guys need any other organization tips, like I can give you tips all day long. It doesn't necessarily mean that I use them. The label maker, putting labels on things, is probably the #1 thing. I still am trying to find the best way to have my beads displayed so that I can see all of them. And I've even gone so far as to think, what if I took all of those beads in those containers up there and strung them on Supple Max or fishing line and hung them all up? Well, that's a great idea, but you know how long that would take me? So it's a constant struggle to kind of figure out how to have your beads in a way that you can see everything that you have so that things don't get pushed to the back and forgotten about. But I think the truth is that you're always going to have things in your supplies that are going to get pushed to the back and forgotten about. I don't think there's any way around it. If somebody else knows the magic for that, please let us all know, because we want to know. All right, you guys. So that's it for me today. Thank you so much for coming and joining. If you've got questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask me. I'm going to give you a heads up about the rest of the week, though. Some of you know, because some of you are in my Straighten Your Crown Facebook group. Some of you know that, like, my personal life is kind of a hot mess at the moment. Plus my work life is like, I'm having some overwhelmed feelings at the moment. I'm not going to be doing a Facebook Live this Thursday or this Friday. Don't hate me. I got to catch up. You guys, I got to catch up. I'm drowning here. I spent the entire weekend working on stuff for Michael's, and then yesterday came and it was like, oh my gosh, it's Monday, and I haven't unplugged and like given myself a minute. So I've got to give myself a minute, and then I've got to get caught up so that we can do all of the fun things that I have planned for us. So Thursday and Friday, there will not be a Facebook Live scheduled.
But to let you know that, like, I'm not leaving and never coming back, I just got to take a minute. Like, I have to take the rest of this week to get caught up and to give myself a little bit of me time, because Mama doesn't want to scream at anybody. I got to take a minute. So Thursday and Friday, there won't be a live. But, here's what's in store for next week. On Tuesday of next week, you guys, I was going to do this on Thursday, but now I'm going to do this on Tuesday instead. Tuesday, we're doing bargain bead box beads. We're going to be using these guys to create something. I have a necklace in mind. I already know what it's going to look like. And as long as I can execute it and make it look really like it looks in my head, I'm super excited about that. So I'm looking forward to that one. So that's coming on Tuesday. And then on Thursday of next week, I have another box. Joan sent me a box of, remember when I did the design on the fly with ginger stuff? Joan sent me a box. I haven't opened it. I don't know what's in it, but we're going to do another one of those. I know it's sad. I'm sorry, you guys. Don't be sad or mad at me. And please don't find somebody else to watch on Thursdays and Fridays. It's just these 2 days, I promise. I just got to take a minute. I gotta catch my breath. I've fallen behind. I ended up being, well, you guys, it doesn't even matter. You guys don't even need to know all of that stuff, but I was behind an entire week. I didn't realize it. I was behind an entire week. So yeah, it's not good when that happens. So I got to get caught up so that we don't have that problem anymore, but I've got great projects lined up for you guys. So Tuesday is going to be the bargain bead box beads. Thursday is going to be a stump the designer. And then Friday is going to be, I'm so excited. Friday, we're doing flower earrings next week, and I'll have kits. They're so springy and summery and beautiful. I can't wait for you guys to see those. And they're easy and they're fun and they're sparkly and they're just beautiful. So yes, all of that is going to be fantastic for you guys. So next week's going to be a great week. This week, I'm going to give myself some grace. And yes. Will you still be live with Jules on Friday? Maybe. I think so. I don't know. I'm not going to be live with Jules tomorrow, though. Christian's going to be live with Jules tomorrow. So I don't know. Maybe. It just kind of depends on if I get caught up or not. If I can get truly caught up, you guys, I won't ever fall behind again. That's the thing. It's like, once you get behind, then you're perpetually behind. I just can't live behind. That drives me crazy. So I got to get back up to where we can all be productive. Yeah, Jessica, it's going to be a good one. All right, so you guys have a wonderful rest of the afternoon. I'll be checking in with you here and there on social media. I'm going to try my best to kind of unplug if I can, because I gotta. But yeah, I'm going to have lots of more fun things for you guys. So take a break from me this week. You got a ton of me last week, so take a break from me. Remember, I did 2 Michael's classes last week. That's sort of how I ended up being behind. But yeah, so enough. I don't have to explain to you guys. You guys know. We all got to take care of ourselves. Me time. All right, have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you guys soon. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me on the tour today. If you've got any questions, just let me know, okay? Love you. Bye.